Hi, Jim. How are you today?
I'm doing well. And you?
Very well, very well. Thank you, thank you. I enjoyed our last conversation on AI immensely. We touched on many things that are known now and many things that we will see in 2020. So naturally today, when we're gonna talk about value of dark data, I'm excited to hear the pearls of wisdom because many people kind of combine in their minds AI, big data, dark data, fast data. Can you please begin with certain definitions so we know that we're all on the same page with our audience today? Thank you.
Yes, and you're going to find that they overlap. So big data is the largest category, and that's the data that you're picking up as part of you doing business. And there's more and more data. It's more fine-grained. It used to be we were only interested in, large blocks of operational data. Now we're interested in the data that, how our customer behaves, what their response is socially, what events are going on in and around our processes and in around our company. So big data is gathering all that data that maybe didn't seem important to operate your transactions, but now will become important because it talks about how people are feeling about your transactions, about your company, and what they're saying about it. And there's a lot of big data, and it's getting bigger every day. In fact, it's growing so fast, people can't manage it. And it's being driven by the fact that we can get a lot of data cheaply, and we have a lot of processing power cheaply. And I think I would say big data has exploded, but I think it's going to explode even more with quantum computing coming on the horizon, with all the forms of parallelism. And now all of a sudden the calculation isn't in the critical path of understanding and leveraging this data. So let's have some more data. So big data is what it's described. It's large amounts of data that may or may not directly point to your organization, but may be of interest because there may be some opportunities or threats in that data that have nothing to do with the transactions that you're processing as an organization. So that's big data. Let's talk about fast data.
Let's.
Fast data is data that is operating in real time or even faster. It could be out on the edge and devices. It could be out on the edge and with robots and bots. There could be activity that's going on the edge. You could have some bots out there bidding on work, and how those bots are looking at the opportunity. That's new, rich, fast data that you didn't have before. So the notion of, independent agents, bots that are acting on the edge, and some of those may be owned, some may not be owned. That data is coming at the company very fast because it's near real time, if not real time, happening in nanoseconds. So that's fast data. Now, what's dark data? Well, dark data is data that you aren't paying attention to. So you have, groups of data that you use in your everyday business, and that's what would be known data, not dark data. So there's light on that data. People are analyzing it. People know about it. They may have more of it than they can handle, in that it's too big and too fast, but they know about it. What's dark data? Dark data is the data that's occurring in and around doing these normal business transactions, events that you're not paying attention to. It doesn't seem important. It doesn't seem to guide your business, doesn't change your guardrails, doesn't change your rules. You think. So you think. So dark data is data that's in the shadows, so to speak, in and around your business events and operations. But there's another class of dark data that is associated to neighboring um, contexts. So it might be a near market. It might be an industry that you don't normally pay attention to, but you ought to. So a real concrete example is I worked for a life insurance company, and for the love of God, I couldn't get top management to say, you know, it's just not lives we're dealing with. We're dealing with people's, you know, pocketbooks. So we should become a financial network. We should offer investments. We should offer things for, you know, the full life cycle, not just birth and death. Let's talk about what's happening in the middle, people having savings for their own retirement, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, you know, either top management had it in their mind or they didn't. Well, they started looking at the data and they started looking at how their customers were behaving, and they realized they were leaving money on the table. And there's nothing more scary to a businessman, and particularly a CPA, to leave money on the table. And so consequently, there's dark data in and around your organization that might put you in another business or cause you to buy another business, or is a new up and coming industry even